Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today with my favorites, fails and recap of February. Yes, February. Jesus Christ. Where did the month go? Anyway, I've got the stuff here and I just wanted to explain, this is probably going to be my temporary filming setup for a little while. My last video I filmed where I normally film, which is on the floor in front of the couch, which I prefer it. I think it's more colourful. I think it's better lighting sometimes. This lighting's not too bad. I just think it looks a bit better. But yeah, I get really bad circulation in my legs at the moment. And when I stood up, my feet were like super swollen. And I was like, oh, I should really stop sitting on the floor for these videos. So this might be my temporary sort of setup for now. But anyway, talking about products that I really enjoyed, that I didn't enjoy, and then just like a recap, like a mini review of products that I've been trying in February. February for me has been a split between trying Nabla products out and also trying to sneak in my Project Pan stuff while doing that. So I did do a full face using Nabla products, and I did mention in that I was gifted a whole bunch of Nabla products from Nabla, and throughout the month I sort of wanted to try as much as I can and then do sort of like a recap video on my top products, my worst products, just my recap of what I think about the range. So yeah, that's sort of been my February, and I think that will continue a little bit into March because I haven't yet used everything and I haven't yet sort of used things enough to sort of wrap my head around things. So that video might come mid-March, but there are some Nabla products that I'm going to mention today that have been like standout products I love heaps, as well as just other stuff that I've been using. All right, so I might start with base products, and I did mention this product. I think it was in my December favorites, but I did do a foundation wear test on it, and I wanted to sort of update you a little bit. So the Australis Fresh and Flawless Full Cover Foundation. So I did the, I believe it was the wear test on this shade here that was light beige, and it was a little bit too sort of yellow for me, a little bit too dark for me, as you can probably tell. But when I put that video up, I noticed that it was the Australis range was 40% off at Priceline. So I think the very next day, or that very day, I went and I bought another shade. So this is Natural Buff, which I'm wearing today. It's a really, really nice foundation. I did a wear test on it, so if you want to see how it wears really beautifully in sort of hot conditions and on oily skin and whatnot. Yeah, I'm wearing this one today, so it's a little bit, probably a little bit light for me. It's more of a sort of going into winter shade, but I do also mix them, and it is still a favorite. It's one that I've been reaching for when I know I'm going to have a big day and it could be a really humid, crappy day, and I just don't want to think about my makeup. Like yesterday, I was out in the city. It was muggy as anything. It was rainy, it was sort of tropical, I was sweating a lot, then I had to go get a scan, which took like 2 hours, and then I had to come back and go to Pilates, and pretty much it lasted all day. So this is definitely still a favorite foundation. I've sort of been using it in between trying the Nabla one and in between trying to use Project Pan stuff, but on days where I want something to be sort of reliable, this is what I go for. That's what I'm wearing today. So yeah, I picked up a new shade, but it's still one that I love. And I will list all the products I talk about in the description box. So if you miss it, they'll be there. And if I've done any videos on them, I'll have them linked as well. So the wear test will be linked in the description box. The next thing I want to mention that I really like, and I might demonstrate in a video, I might film it later this week. But on Beauty News, we decided to test the Tati Blendiful. So this comes in a pack of 2, and Hayley tried this on. She really liked it, but because she had the Linda Hallberg one, which applied base products and sort of powders just as well as this, she was like, you know, you play with this and I'll take the Linda Hallberg one. So I've been playing with it, and I really do enjoy using it. It's quite good for foundation because it doesn't absorb as much product as a sponge does, and you can sort of just swipe it on really quickly because it's a large surface area. You probably want to swipe it on this side. You can set your powder, but what I really like about it and what I want to demonstrate in a video, probably that will go up maybe next week, is it's really, really good for cream bronzer. So in my Project Pan, I'm trying to pan the Huda, is it Tantua? I think it's called the Tantua. It's like a contour cream product, and it's sort of a product that can be sort of hard to work into my daily routine because it's sort of weird to apply like a quite pigmented cream bronzer, but this applies it really well. So you just have to hold it like this, and you pick up the product and you put it on and it blends it in super well. So I've been really enjoying this for that purpose. So I still use a sponge and a brush more than I use this for foundation, but I love using this for cream contouring or bronzing. It works really, really well. It blends it really nicely. It covers a large surface area. You can use cream or powder with this. It's a large area, so if you wanted to do your foundation with this area and you wanted to go in with your powder with that area and then your cream bronzer, well, probably cream bronzer, then powder, you can totally do that on one sponge without cleaning it. My biggest issue with this is that it is a pain in the ass to clean. So yeah, it hasn't replaced my sponge to do my daily base because it is a pain in the ass to clean. You'll find that foundation stuff will get stuck right under, sort of like in the base of the fluff, and it's really annoying. I haven't used this mini one though, so this is just to demonstrate. I haven't used it. But if you are after a tool that can really quickly apply cream products and powder products, I'm not saying you have to buy this particular one, but puffs like this, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. So I might demonstrate this in a video next week where after I do my Project Pan check-in, I might do sort of like how I do my makeup every day with my Project Pan products. And since I do have a cream bronzer in my Project Pan products, I might use this to demonstrate it. All right, so there will be some Nabla products thrown in amongst this, even though I will be doing a couple of Nabla videos in March. But one thing that I really love from the range that I've been really enjoying is their brushes. And particularly, I want to mention this brush here, which is the Cheek Shaper brush. So you can see that it is this sort of pointed but fluffy brush. And I love it. I love using it for blush. I love using it for bronzer. So when I'm not trying to use that cream bronzer, when I'm trying to use my powder bronzer, I just use the pan, pick up a little bit. It sort of like really goes precisely where you want it to go with the tip, and then you just blend it in. You'll see me using this for the first time in my Nabla full face video, and it is surprisingly easy to use. So I've used it with bronzer today. I sort of just, I sort of bronzer with bronzer. So I just take a bronzer and I sort of just swipe it around my face to add some shape and dimension and some warmth. So it's not like exact contouring. You could do that with this. That's not how I do my makeup, but it is a really beautiful way to just really quickly get the product where you want it to go, but then also blend it out. And I love this brush. So I like their brushes in general, but this is the one that I think stands out for me as being like a really great shape, and probably one that I don't really have in my collection. I'm sure I've got a lot of brushes that are sort of this size, but not quite as pointed, and it surprisingly works a treat. All right, now let's get on to eye products, and I only have eyeliners to talk about this month. I have been trying the Nabla eyeshadow palettes, but there's not really one that stands out as being like, this is my most favorite one. So I'm not talking about eyeshadows this month, but I do want to talk about eyeliners. So I have been loving a couple of eyeliners. One is from Nabla. This is the Serial Liner. This is a really great liner. So again, I demonstrate this in that Get Ready With Me, so I'll link that down below. But this is a liquid liner and it's made in Korea. So Korean and Japanese liners are some of the best liquid liners. It's got a nice fine brush tip applicator, so you can get a really fine line, and it's a brush applicator. So you can either do it and get a thick line, or you can go really, really, really precise and get like these really fine lines, which is crazy. So it is a beautiful, beautiful liner. I don't love liquid liners like this because it is a shiny effect, and I feel like it's almost, I kind of like my makeup a little bit messy. It's gonna sound strange, but I sort of like the smoky eye. I like a little bit of a messy liner, that really precise liner. I feel like you can see, I personally think I can see sort of mistakes too much and it sort of annoys me. But when I do want to reach for a black liquid liner that has a shiny finish, this is one that I've been going for because it works a treat. So I haven't had issues with it bleeding on my inner corner, which I think at least 50% of these types of liners do that for me, which is why I often just lean towards gel. but this is a really, really beautiful liner. And then the liner I'm wearing today, which I have been loving as well, and I've been using this since, I think it's late Jan. So JD Glow, they released a couple of new liners to their range. They actually released a new formulation of a matte liner, and I think they brought it out in 4 shades. I have this brown, which is called Chestnut, which is what I'm wearing. They've got an olive shade, which I don't have, but I really want. They've got a black, which Hayley has, and a white, which Hayley has as well. So we did get these in PR. We didn't get the olive. I'm a little bit sad, but I really enjoy this formula. So if I'm placing an order in the future, I'll pick up the olive one. But what I really like about this matte liner, so it's a bit different to the sort of pen liners like the Nabla one. It is pretty much a brush in a well, so it's similar to like a lip gloss, for example. The brush tends to be a little bit more covered with product because it's not ink that's seeping into the brush, it's covered in the product. But this is a really, really beautiful liner. It's got nice pigmentation. I love the brown shade. So for me, if brown is any lighter than this, it doesn't actually define the eye and I don't like using it. So you can definitely see the liner, which is great. But also I just really love this formula. So it does dry down matte, which I prefer. So I prefer a matte liner than I do a shiny liner, and also it doesn't sort of crack or crease or flake off or anything. So I really, really enjoy this. So I have tried a lot of JD Glow liners before. I've got some neon ones, I've got some multichrome ones, I've got some metallic ones, and they're all really, really beautiful. But one issue that I have with them is the neon ones can get a little bit dry and flaky, and the sort of metallic or duochrome, multichrome ones can sort of look a little bit, they look like they sort of crack a little bit on the eye. So as your eye moves, it sort of like leaves little like lines in there. And that's just simply because it's like this metallic finish. And then as your eyes move and your skin moves, it sort of like cracks the finish. So I don't love that cracking sort of effect from those liners, but the effect of the liners themselves are worth the hassle, whereas this one is waterproof and it doesn't do that cracky business. So this is a really beautiful liner. I can wear it all day without any issues. Again, because it's sort of one of those matte, budge-proof, dry down ones. There's no like, I haven't had any issues with it bleeding or fading or crumbling. So I really, really like this new matte formula, and I'm keen to try the, I'm keen to pick up the black one and also the olive one, because I think they've done a really good job. They also released a couple of new metallic ones, and one that I wanted to mention because I really love it, and I actually have it on my inner corner and also on, you can just see under my liner, I might zoom in and show you soon, is a new metallic one. So this is in the shade Hollywood, and I don't use this too often because again, it is one that can crumble a little bit. So these metallic ones can crumble. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, like cool toned light gold. When I talk about loving gold eyeshadow, sometimes I'll talk about loving gold eyeshadow and then I'll be like, but I don't like this type of gold, and I don't like yellow gold, and I don't like blah, blah gold. And people are like, do you actually like gold? What the heck? I love this type of gold. So a cool toned gold is gorgeous. A really, really yellow gold on me looks quite garish, but a nice soft sort of champagne cool toned gold, I'm all about it. And this is a perfect example of the sort of gold that I really, really, really vibe with. So it's a beautiful liner if you want to just use it as an accent, or if you like a really light liner, you can use it as a normal liner. I just mainly use it as a bit of an accent. I think it's gorgeous. Beautiful shade. And I'm not sure if you've seen, but I've just put a little line there as instead of like an inner corner highlight. And then I've put a line just under my liner. So I've got the brown matte liner on the top, and then just little accents of that gold. And I think it's such a beautiful gold. It just gives a little bit of a twinkle, a little bit of something special, and it's like perfect gold that I love. All right, I've got a bunch of lip products that I want to talk about. I've got some that are favorites and some that are fails, and I'm like, oh, do I talk about them all at the end? But no, lip products. So I'm going to talk about some lip products that I've been loving, loving, loving this month. Because when I think about the products that I love this month, these are some of the ones that stand out as being my most favorite products. And I don't want to talk about them right at the end just because it leads on to lip products that are fails. But the lip product I'm currently wearing, and I've mentioned this before, I mentioned it in the Nabla video, there is a lipstick that I am obsessed with. And even though I do have some other shades of these, I just keep reaching for this one because I love it so much and I can't put it down. But this is, it's one of their matte lipstick. They've got a weird name, and it's not on the It's not actually on the packaging. But I'll have the full name of the lipstick type in the description box, but it's a matte lipstick and the shade that I love is Backbeat. So this is a beautiful cool toned matte lipstick and I'm obsessed with it. Like it looks, I don't know if I need to turn this down a bit. It's almost got a gray sort of tone to it, but I love it so much. So this is how it looks. It looks quite light, but it is beautiful. And I feel like, I don't know, I've been going for more bronzy skin, sort of cool toned brown eyes, and then the cool toned sort of matte lip. And I just really, really love the effect of it. So I've been wearing this a lot. I don't think it's a best matte lipstick formula, if that makes sense. I feel like it can, there's times where it can look a little bit, I don't want to say thick, but if you do sort of build it up, it can feel a little bit thick on the lips and you might want to like tap it out because it can feel a little bit like dry. But otherwise it is gorgeous and I wear it all the time. So it's like a new favorite, obsessed with it. I need to force myself to try the other shades in the range to see if I'm equally as obsessed with it. But this shade I adore. A range that I have tried pretty much every one of and I love them. There's probably one that I don't like, and it's not that I don't like the formula, it's just that the color isn't my jam. And these are also by Nabla, and these are like standout products from Nabla in my opinion. They need to expand on this range and bring out like some more shades and some brights and whatnot, because this is such a good formula. These are the creamy Dreamy liquid lipsticks. So I think people know them more for their matte liquid lipsticks. I'm gonna say I'm not the biggest fan. I've tried a couple shades and I just feel like they're a little bit like dry on the lips. And then as I start to wear down, I sort of want to take them off because I feel a little bit sort of chunky on the lips. But these creamy lipsticks are phenomenal. My favorite shades would be Hedonist because it's more of a light sort of, I don't know if you can see, but it's like a light, more brown toned nude, which I love. And this dark red is phenomenal. So this is Vicious. These are probably my two favorites, but I wore this all day yesterday. It was gorgeous. It's this sort of like purple tone one. And I love these two nudes as well. The one that I don't particularly love is this red. It's sort of like a muted red. And I feel like it just, I don't know, it just doesn't really suit me, but I'll swatch these for you. And I might actually put this one on because it is probably my favorite at the moment anyway. It's my favorite dark red lip. So I think what I love about this particular shade is normally when you get a dark, like a red lip, if it's glossy, it can smear everywhere and you need to be very careful for it not to smear. You have to sort of babysit it to make sure it stays in your lip line. Whereas this one, you don't have to. Also, if you go for a dark lip that ends up being a little bit more matte, it often can wear off patchy and faded and look a little bit funny, but because this stays creamy, it stays looking gorgeous for such a long time. So I love this. I'm going to demonstrate this in a second. But again, I really, really love all these nudes. They're just different colors of nudes. And I wore this one yesterday. This one's My Rules, which is this sort of like purple tone one. And I wore it all day. I was out. It was a hot day. Had like a coffee, I had lunch, still wore beautifully. And if anything, it just sort of fades down a little bit. I went to go reapply it and I was putting it on. I'm like, I don't actually need to reapply it. This is like 5 hours of wear and through eating and it still looks as gorgeous as it did when I first put it on. Like it is surprisingly, this formula is so good. Again, sort of a shiny, creamy finish, but it doesn't move everywhere. It doesn't smear. But it also doesn't dry down to a point where it sort of like wears off patchy. It just is beautiful. So shall I wipe my hand off? I will. I'll swatch all of these. Just wanted to mention really quickly as well, with a baby wipe wiping my hand, the JD Glow, the brown liner is the one that wears the best. So when I talk about it being waterproof and budge proof, I'm not shitting you. It is very, very budge proof. All right, so let's run through these shades really quickly. So Vicious is the one that I want to take this lip off and demonstrate for you. It's like a dark, you can see it's a dark red. It's shiny, it's gorgeous, it's pigmented, it's glorious. The one that I was wearing yesterday, which is more of a cool toned one, this is the shade My Rules. And again, this wore Like, it was astoundingly well. Like, it looked so gorgeous all day. Loved it. The one I don't particularly love, just because the tone doesn't really work for me, is called Mood for Love. I have tried to wear this a couple of times, and each time I'm like, it's not really... You'd think an orangey sort of red would suit me, but this sort of feels so muted that I'm like, it's not quite what I'm after. But it is a nice color. Just for some reason, I just don't wear it too much. Hedonist is my favorite nude. So let's have a look at it here. You can just see it's like a brownie nude. It sort of ends up being a bit like it's warmer than this one. So you can see it's a little bit more like yellow toned, brownie toned. But it's sort of like a My Lips but better. I really enjoy it. We've got Adam's Dream, which is a little bit deeper. So if I want something a little bit darker, this is as the sort of cooler months start coming in a bit, I'm going to hit up more of these colors. That's when this one might come in. That sort of muted orange red I might like. But I'd love to see in this formula a bright red or an orangey red would be great. And then Eve is more of a sort of peachy, more of a pink tone nude. So this is a brown tone that's more of a peachy pink tone, but they all are so stunning. They wear gorgeously. I love them. So I'm going to put the red one on because it's about time we demonstrate them. All right, I've just taken off that nude lip, and I'm going to say it does leave your lips feeling a little bit dry, but let's go in with this baby. I'm going to scrape off a little bit off the sides just because the wand does get a little bit packed on with product, and I want to sort of build it up if I need to, but you can see the pigmentation is gorgeous. This tone of red would suit so many people as well. All right, so there you go. I just turned up the brightness a little bit because I was looking very dark, but you can see how gorgeous that lip product is. Why I love it so much. It's like one coat. It gives a beautiful opaque lip. It gives a bit of a shine. It doesn't migrate. It, like, if you eat or drink, you just press your lips together and it just sort of fades down throughout the day really beautifully. So I am obsessed with this. It is such a beautiful vampy red, but I'm obsessed with the formula in general. I love the nudes. I love them all. So yeah, this is definitely one of my, if I had to recommend a product from Nabla that I was like, this is probably head and shoulders above other things I have in my collection, it would be these, because if you're after sort of a liquid lipstick that isn't a matte liquid lipstick, but again, gives you a beautiful effect, looks gorgeous on the lips, doesn't migrate and smear throughout the day and last a long time, these are phenomenal. All right, I'm going to divert from lips a little bit and then I'll come back to it later, but I want to talk about nail polish. So this month I have been wearing some sort of bright-ish color nail polish. You'll notice that I was wearing this neon from Orly. So this is Push the Limit. So it's just a normal nail polish. It looks sort of, it's a neon. Trust me, it's a neon. It's hard to see. If I turn the brightness down a lot, hang on, you'll be able to see that it's neon. I've also been using this really bright pink from Color Club. This is in the shade, I think it's Mrs. Robinson. Currently have this on my toes. So I've been really loving these. I currently have a really old discontinued nail polish, but I just wanted to, tell you in case you wanted to know. It's this like sort of pastel purple color. It's an old nail polish from Lime Crime. They don't have nail polishes anymore, but it's in the shade Lavendairy. But I wanted to mention that these are normal nail polishes. Normal nail polishes on me don't last. Like, I love all those colors, but they don't last on me. What I have been doing is using them with a gel top coat. Now, I talked about some gel nail polishes that I loved. I think it was in my top products of 2019 maybe. And someone, I think on that video or a video near it, was talking about, do you use gel polish over normal nail polish? So my reply to that comment was pretty much, I've tried it, but I find that the nail polish doesn't wear very well. So why go to the effort to put the top coat on, in my opinion? But then what I wanted to do was I really wanted to try some of these neon nail polishes and playing with colors that I don't have gel equivalents of. And I figured out a way to make the gel top coat work for me. So what I want to say is that there's two things that I feel like you need to do. You need to find a base coat that works well for you. I found the Kester black one, which is the Miracle Treatment base coat. This one works really well under normal nail polish and then with a gel top coat. For some reason, it holds onto the nail polish really well, whereas I've tried some other base coats throughout the month and the nails throughout the week just pop off. So I find this one works really, really well if you want to then put normal nail polish over the top and then gel. So I've used a lot of it. You can see that I've been using it quite a bit. I really like this one. Also, the other trick that I've noticed makes a big effect is if you put 2 coats of gel on the top. So right now, this is normal nail polish. I've had it on for a few days now, which is fine, but it's like perfect. This will last me at least a week before it starts to sort of like lift. And it looks sort of perfect for a whole week, which I think is totally worth the putting gel top coat on for that. Whereas if I don't use 2 coats of gel top coat, or if I use a different base, I have noticed that after like 2 or 3 days, some of my nail polish would look perfect and then other nails will just pop off and disappear. So yeah, I feel like you can definitely get a good effect and good longevity with a normal base coat, normal nail polish, and then gel top coat. But you need to find a good base coat and do 2 coats of gel. And that's what I've been doing. And that's how I was sort of comfortably using these bright colors, knowing that they're gonna last a long time, at least a good week, looking perfect on the nails, because yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I've loved enjoying like some of my old collection nail polish that I haven't been touching recently, because when I wear them just on their own with a normal base coat or top coat, they start to like flake or peel or, you know, chip off in like 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours. So what's the point? But with the right base coat and 2 coats of gel, they last a good week plus. All right, so those are my favorite products. Then I want to talk about sort of like a recap. I want to mention what I think about this range. So Good Molecules. So it's a skincare brand. They did send me these in PR. So it's the sort of skincare home brand of Beautylish. And they've got a big range of skincare items that launched, I think, at the start of 2019. But they did send me some products, and I sort of want to talk about them briefly. There is one product in here that I would consider a favorite of the month, but I just thought I'd show you and let you know what I think about the other products that I've been trying. So firstly, we've got the Niacinamide Brightening Toner. So this is formulated with niacinamide, vitamin C, arbutin, and licorice root extract to brighten, improve appearance of enlarged pores. Now, this is a step that I try to remember to use. I often forget, so it's probably my least used thing out of this range. I really do like niacinamide products because they do help clear your skin, and if you do have like breakouts and stuff, I find that it works a treat. It's just that toners are a step that I always forget to use. So I think this is not a bad one. It's one that I have to force myself to use a lot more. But from what I've experienced from it so far, I really do like it. And I think it's a good product as well. Like, I get quite sweaty and hot, and it's a good product to bring down sort of like your chest and neck, because I can get little like body breakouts if it's too hot. And especially if I'm wearing sunscreen on my chest, by the end of the day, I've got like little breakouts. So that's also a good product to sort of bring down your neck and onto your chest. Then I've got the Hyaluronic Acid Serum. I like this. I like using it during the day. I don't think this is particularly like any different from a normal hyaluronic acid serum, but it's pretty affordable, and I like this a lot more than the one I currently have is from The Ordinary, and I find that one to be quite sticky. This one is a little bit more comfortable and it works a treat. My skin's been quite hydrated lately. It feels good. So I've been mainly using this one in the morning, but you can use it morning and night. Then we've got the Super Peptide Serum. So this is formulated with tripeptides to target fine lines, wrinkles, and dullness. And I mainly use this one at night. So of course you can use them both morning and night. You can layer them if you want. My skin doesn't like too many layers of products. So for me, I like to use one or the other. Yeah, it's been working fine. I haven't noticed any great results, but I haven't noticed any bad results. So that's that. But the thing that I like the most and that I would consider a favorite of the month is their moisturizer. So this is the Silicone-Free Priming Moisturizer. So it's formulated with shea butter, macadamia seed oil, and plant-derived silicone alternatives to deeply hydrate, smooth, and nourish the skin. And once again, you can use this morning and night, and I've been using it quite a lot. It's got an airless pump. You can see that I've used it quite a bit. I love using this one morning and night, but I mainly like to use it in the morning because it is just such a good versatile moisturizer. So it's got this pump bottle, which I really like. It's quite thick, but it's also like quite, I don't know, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, so it sort of blends in really nicely, but you can feel like you've got some hydration and stuff going on. And what I love about it is that it doesn't clash with anything else. It doesn't clash with other serums, it doesn't clash with sunscreen, it doesn't clash with makeup. So I feel like this is such a good sort of versatile moisturizer that just makes your skin feel like it's hydrated, it's moisturized, it's comfortable, but it's not like greasy or oily or doesn't ball up with other products because it's silicone free. So I feel like this is a really nice moisturizer if you are the kind of person that struggles with mixing moisturizers with other products, because yeah, I've had issues in the past where you put a serum on, you put the moisturizer on, it balls up, or you go to put a sunscreen over the top and it just doesn't mix together very well, whereas this works really well with all skincare items I've used it with and all sort of steps in my routine. So this is probably the thing that I would repurchase the most. I feel like it's just a really nice, basic but versatile moisturizer, so I dig that. All right, back onto lip products, and I want to talk about these because these are both favorites and fails. So I wanted to mention them right at the end so it can transition into fails. So these are the limited edition Uemura lipsticks that they brought out for Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. And I think they brought out, I don't know, like 12 of them or something, but they brought out some new formulas that I was sort of interested in. So I did do a video, which was probably the last video I put up. It was like, if I could only keep 10 lip products, what would they be? And in that video, I do talk a lot about the Uemura matte formula because I really love that formula. I believe it's the Rouge Unlimited matte, I think. And yeah, they're formulas that I absolutely adore. So when I see sort of tweaks of them, I'm like, you have my attention. So what they released, and these are just 2 of them, I think there were 4 or 5. They released glitter matte lipsticks. Now these, unfortunately for me, one of them is a fail, one of them is not bad. So this is going into fail territory, but I've got the glitter matte red 163 and the glitter matte orange 570. Now there were a few oranges. I think there were 3 different types of oranges. They pretty much all look the same, which was really frustrating, but it's the same matte formula that I adore, but it's got some like glitter in it. And I'm not sure if you can see, I might zoom in later, but essentially it's got gold glitter in it and it gives a little bit of something to the lips, which I do quite like. Now, these looked gorgeous in the marketing campaign. Of course they did. And I was like, I need to check them out ASAP. They're in David Jones. I want them. But when I swatched all the oranges, first they all look the same, which I was like, that's annoying. But when I wear this on the lips, it doesn't look great. The glitter sort of sits quite chunky on the lips. So you can, I think this looks nice when you first apply it, but then if you go to touch it up, it just looks chunky on the lips. And then what happens is that the lipstick starts to wear away and the lips and the glitter sort of stays and looks, once again, it just gives a chunky effect on the lips. So I didn't like this. I was very disappointed, which was really frustrating because it's one of those products where I'm like, okay, I don't like glitter lips, but I'll make an exception for this. It's one of my favorite lipstick formulas. It looks gorgeous. Okay, let's give it a crack. Let's see if finally a brand can create a glitter lipstick that I really like. And they couldn't. The red is a lot better though. So this is more of a pink toned red. And this one, instead of having gold glitter that this has and all the oranges has, this has more of a silver glitter. And it's just a little bit more refined. So this does look a lot more flattering on the lips. I feel like the glitter for some reason is just a little bit better incorporated into the lipstick. So this is not a favorite, but it is not, it's not a fail either. So I'll zoom in on these in a second. But the things that I wanted to mention that I got that were sort of like the hidden gem that made it okay was the 2 red shades. These are both in 163, so it's red 163, but there's 2 different formulas. Now, when I do look at my collection of these lipsticks, I have a lot of bright orangey reds, I have a lot of pinks, I have a lot of berries, I have a lot of sort of vibrant colors, but when it comes to reds that are more like muted reds, I don't have any. So when they brought out these 163 reds, I was like, these actually look really, really gorgeous. So I've got the matte version and the amplified version. It's the first time I've tried the amplified version. I have tried a more shiny version of these, and I feel like they just wear off too quickly. They don't have enough pigmentation behind them. The amplified one is sort of shiny but pigmented, and it is beautiful. It's like the most glossy blood red color, and it is gorgeous on the lips. It's sort of like this, but a bit brighter, not as opaque. And it is such a gorgeous color. I don't know if it's capturing it on camera properly, but it gives you that sort of glossy blood red sort of lips. So I love that. And I also really love the matte version, which again is the same sort of color, just a different finish. Do you need them both? I argue, yes, I do. And I love them both. So yeah, these were sort of the hidden gems for me. I wasn't expecting to like these ones, but it's just the tone that I don't have in this formula. And I think it's really, really beautiful. And coming into winter, it's like the most beautiful sort of like cherry, gorgeous lip. And I love the packaging as well. I think it's beautiful limited edition packaging. But the ones that I was most excited for, which was the matte glitter effect, they fell flat for me, unfortunately. All right, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see, but these are that sort of beautiful, true sort of blue toned red. There's the amplified finish and the matte finish. And then we have that red with the glitter. It's a bit of a silver glitter. And then the orange with the gold glitter. This one ends up looking quite chunky. And if you sort of blend it, I don't know if you can see, the glitter sometimes doesn't sit super flat. It sort of picks up in a funny way or sits uneven. I might build it up a bit, but the glitter sort of just, I don't know, it just doesn't look flattering. And as it starts to wear down, it sort of sits sort of chunky. I don't have the macro lens, but hopefully you can see the chunky glitter in the orange is just too, I don't know, it's just too noticeable. It just looks a bit messy. It just doesn't look nice on the lips. So yeah, somehow I'm sure I'll make that orange work because I'm not gonna let it go to waste, but it just doesn't look as impactful and as awesome as I thought it would look. It just sort of looks chunky and strange. Like just looks a bit messy. But the last things I want to talk about that are also fails, and these are also disappointing. It's a new lip products from Colourpop. These are the Luxe Velvet liquid lipsticks. So this is more of your sort of like their blotted lip, but instead of it drying down completely matte, it sort of stays a little bit, it has a silicone feel to them. So it doesn't actually ever dry down. It just gives you that sort of matte effect on the lips, but without it being dry, if that makes sense. So I've got a couple of shades here. So that's Puddin', that's Casual Dress. They're the sort of like that blotted lip, but they stay in that sort of silicone primer feel, which, you know, is a thing in itself. It never actually dries down. It just sort of feels blotted. It gives a matte look because it's that silicone sort of slip. Imagine like a silicone primer. You put it on, you can still feel it on your face. It doesn't set down matte, but it sort of can mattify the skin just because of that diffused finish. Now I really wanted to love these, but the problem I found was because it doesn't set down, it sort of moves as you talk, and it creates this really, really not nice rim on the inner part of your lips. It's not where a bold lip color will meet your natural lip color. You can see that distinct line. This actually builds up like a gathered, like a little gathering of product, and it just looks nasty. I wore this in a video, and as I talked throughout the whole video, it looked beautiful at the start, and then by the end you could see that line on the inner rim, and this happened with this shade as well. So I did try to use this shade, which I thought was gorgeous. This shade is Getting Money. This one is a bit darker. It's this beautiful sort of brown orange color. I did wear this the other day when I was editing, and I really wanted to see if it creates that line. And I found that it wore a lot better, but I'm not sure if it's because I wasn't talking much. Whereas when I've worn these other colors, I found that I was talking a lot, and that the product just migrates and settles unevenly, and it looks really, really, really bad. So these for me are almost like the opposite of these. I know that I can put these on and I don't need to babysit them. They look gorgeous until they like completely fade off. Whereas with these products, I don't want to take the risk because you're wearing a bold color or, you know, a color that you think looks beautiful, and then you check back and you realize your lips look hideous. And that's not what I want from a lip product. I want a lip product that I can rely on, that I can feel good in, I can feel confident in, And these unfortunately are not it. This one I need to try more because I think it is a beautiful color and I'm hoping it does wear a lot better than these ones. But I feel like they are just that sort of silicone slip that never dries down and never really sets. It leads to migration and it just does not look good. So these for me, unfortunately, are a fail because I think the effect of them when you first put them on are gorgeous, but that goes downhill pretty quickly. All right, so those are my favorites, fails, and recap of Feb. So they're the products that I've been trying, the ones that have been standing out as being really great products, and the ones that have disappointed me, unfortunately. But so I'll be back for my Project Pan update, which should be my next video. And then what I might do is sort of like a get ready with me using all Project Pan products. And then I might start delving into the Nabla sort of reviews. I still have a little bit more to try, but I've got a good idea of the collection now. So that's what will be coming up throughout the start of March, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what your favorite product of Feb or what your fail of Feb was. I'd love to know. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.